Car dependence has taken over our way of life. For many, the personal automobile is the only way to get around.
People get in their cars, get on the highway, and park at their destinations, only to repeat the process during their return.
Multiplied by millions, this trend becomes unsustainable and results in congestion, obesity, sprawl, oil dependence, etc.
To make matters worse, our main streets are moving to the highways to provide walkable shopping experiences for people who have the means to drive there.
This has become the norm of the American lifestyle, which is quickly proving to be unsustainable.
When will we realize this car-oriented world is completely within our control?
We propose a hierarchical system of movement at 3 scales of connectivity to not only reduce society's dependence on the personal automobile, but to reduce the need for a car at both ends of the public transit line.
These 3 levels of movement include a compact walkable neighborhood, a multimodal transit line through neighborhoods, and a regional route connecting urban cores.
At the transition of each level will be a functional node to support efficient, sustainable, and economically viable means of transportation for all users.
The current state of many local neighborhoods is systematic neglect of the human scale. People drive through a public realm that takes priority over pedestrians and gives places negative emotional values. Due to segregated land uses, the majority of residents have no other option than to drive to their destinations, which are inconveniently located down highways in office parks or commercial centers. Simple, easy tasks like running to the store for milk or meeting up for coffee turn into a much more drawn-out process, a process that requires more energy, infrastructure, and money. Even the amount of space an individual occupies increases tenfold after getting behind the wheel and inevitably contributing to traffic congestion. Imagine how much space on the roads could be saved if drivers didn't have to be in a car to get from A to B. Imagine if the path between A and B was a shorter, safer, more enjoyable walk.
What our towns and cities need is a proper functional neighborhood structure, perhaps one that resembles the layout of towns before the invention of the automobile. Places where the pedestrian takes precedence over the car. All-inclusive communities can serve the residents' basic needs within a 5 to 10 minute walking distance. This entails building areas that are diverse, mixed-use places, pharmacies next to daycares, next to supermarkets. Design features will include wide sidewalks, bike lanes, paving patterns that forcibly slow down traffic, bollards to protect and encourage walking, street lights to promote safety for the pedestrian, and ample vegetation to purify air, provide shade, and suggest a pleasant walking experience. Low-density streets will feed into others of higher density. These streets have the capacity to host buildings with mixed uses, permeable facades, providing local products and services at convenience. It will attract neighbors to walk rather than getting in their car, where they would support common branded products and services.
These neighborhoods are designed to restore the street as a public space meant for people, not cars. Because streets can be made with wider function than just movement, children can play, neighbors can socialize, and people can exercise. Removing the automobile from the public space has significant potential to improve lifestyles through positive emotional response, greater functionality, and higher economic returns. Providing the proper walkable elements means those who do not own cars are no longer stranded. the center of these neighborhoods, we propose a local transit corridor to streamline traffic flow for trips that are longer than the typical 5 to 10 minute walking distance. Specifically, a streetcar line adjacent to a bikeway will collect pedestrians along a local route. This area of greater mobility and pedestrian turnover is prime real estate for higher density development.
One can think of this level of transportation as the positive equivalent to the sprawling commercial corridor of suburbia. Intense development, high flow of traffic. However, there are remarkable differences between the old and the new. Obviously, the cartway will not be dominated by 4 lanes of cars, but instead will be almost entirely open to pedestrians. Within the cartway, a bicycle highway of sorts provides ample infrastructure for riders to travel further and faster than walkers, without having to worry about the dangers of sharing the road with automobiles. And pedestrians can cross the street at their own leisure. Parallel to the bikeway, a local transit route comprised of streetcar or bus rapid transit will move people en masse between neighborhood stops.
You will also notice that, with the riddance of the need for cars, there is no longer a need for parking. No more will travelers have to drive down roads bordered on both sides by fields of paved lots. Big box stores with frontal parking can be rightfully replaced by the traditional, attractive storefront. As you can see, not only do people need to drive to the shopping plazas, but they also have to get back into their car, re-enter the highway, and make a long, inconvenient loop through more shopping malls, traffic, and construction in order to get simply 50 feet away to the store across the street. This process takes 10 or so minutes, eating away at resources, and easily dissuades people from running that last errand or making impulse purchases many shop owners may benefit from through window attraction.
Higher density development connected through public transit lines will benefit the community economically as well as improve the use of the individual's time, resources, and energy. Design features will include the streetcar, mixed-use, high-density development, wide sidewalks, retail, and gathering spaces. This corridor will then lead to a regional transit line that connects to larger surroundings.
At the highest scale of movement, travelers need a means of spanning long distances quickly and efficiently. To accommodate regional movement, we propose that all local transit lines feed into a more generalized network of high-speed transportation. This includes, but is not limited to, high-speed train, magnetic levitation rail, and other conventional long-range vehicles like air and sea travel.
Although requiring steep initial investments, proper implementation of a regional mass transit network would likely provide hefty returns in the long run. The current model, dominated by a growing highway system fueled by induced demand, is becoming increasingly unsustainable in both environmental and economic terms. Furthermore, we cannot keep adding to the fundamentally impractical system. More road lanes will never be able to escape the principles of induced demand as more cars fill the roadways. Within decades, we will wish we had invested in infrastructure that moves people in mass.
Our network of regional transit corridors will connect to the local level at nodes located in the heart of the urban core. These places will be connection hubs to the rest of the world, enabling pedestrians from the local level to walk to local transit and transfer to a regional scale of movement.
To recap, our proposed transportation network entails 1. A local walkable neighborhood centered around mixed-use development and pedestrian-oriented planning.
2. a seamless transit line and bikeway connecting neighborhoods with an urban corridor.
And 3, a high-speed regional transportation network anchored to the local level at the densest urban centers.
Although ambitious, this vision has potential to increase mobility for all citizens regardless of socioeconomic status.
It will increase physical activity within the daily lifestyle and improve health.
It will reduce the ecological footprint per capita with the reduction in fossil fuels.
And most importantly, it will encourage smart growth of positive urban places where people want to live.
With emphasis on local commodity chains, global industries like shipping will adapt to the changing system, something they will have to do anyway in the wake of eventual fuel shortages.
It is within the hopes of the next generation of planners, policymakers, and consumers that the era of the car was a mistake that needs to be addressed.